The silent revolution. The galaxy was a crowded place. Thousands of civilizations spanned its spiraling arms, trading, warring, and forming alliances that shaped the political landscape of countless star systems. Massive ships traversed the void between stars, carrying goods, diplomats, and sometimes armies. Technological marvels that could terraform planets or harness the energy of suns were commonplace among the most advanced species. And then there was Earth. In the grand catalogue of inhabited worlds maintained by the Galactic Assembly, Earth was barely worth a footnote. A small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star in an unfashionable sector of the Orion Arm. Its dominant species, humans, had only recently discovered how to leave their atmosphere and had established just a handful of outposts beyond their homeworld. They were classified as a pre-interstellar civilization, the diplomatic term for primitives not worth our attention. Arcturus Prime, the capital world of the Assembly, hosted representatives from over 300 advanced civilizations. In the grand chambers where galactic policy was decided, Earth didn't even have an observer seat. The few diplomats who had bothered to visit the planet returned with dismissive reports. The humans were fractious, divided into competing nation-states, and technologically stunted. Their most impressive achievements were considered quaint by galactic standards. Another request from Earth for membership consideration. Admiral Tsotor of the Arcturus Dominion said with a dismissive wave of his clawed hand, "The third this cycle." The Dominion controlled nearly 60 star systems and possessed one of the most formidable military forces in the galaxy. Its representatives dominated assembly politics through intimidation as much as diplomacy. "They are persistent," noted Delegate Mira, a willowy figure from the Cepheus Consortium. "Perhaps we should send an assessment team." "Waste of resources," Soter rumbled. "Their ships can barely reach their own moon. They have no unified government, no worthwhile technology to trade. The assessment would be the same as the last one. Not ready." The Assembly moved on to matters considered more pressing: border disputes between established powers, regulatory frameworks for new forms of quantum communication, trade agreements worth trillions of galactic credits. Earth was forgotten before the day's session ended. Meanwhile, on that insignificant blue planet, something was changing. In an underground facility beneath the Himalayan mountains, Commander Elena Reyes stood before a wall of screens displaying data streams and satellite imagery. At 42, she had the bearing of someone who had weathered many storms. Her short-cropped silver hair framed a face that rarely betrayed emotion, but today there was a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "The Unity Defense Initiative is officially operational," she announced to the room of scientists, military personnel, and government representatives. "All 6 production facilities are online. Fleet integration has reached 97% efficiency." The room erupted in applause. 10 years of secret work across 27 nations had culminated in this moment. A unified Earth defense force that no one beyond their planet knew existed. "The Assembly rejected our membership application again," said Director Zhang, a thin man with round glasses who headed Earth's diplomatic efforts. "They still think we're just dabbling with chemical rockets and basic fusion." "Good," Elena replied. "Let them think that." The screens shifted to show Earth's orbital space. To the untrained eye, it looked mostly empty save for the conventional satellites and space stations known to the galaxy at large. But Elena touched a control, and suddenly hundreds of stealth platforms became visible on the display, a constellation of defensive systems that had been deployed in absolute secrecy. "Phase 1 was hiding our capabilities," she continued. "Phase 2 is demonstrating them, but only when we're ready, on our terms." Earth had been quietly revolutionizing its technology for decades, ever since the first leaked reports of alien civilizations had reached government agencies. While officially maintaining the appearance of a fractured planet with mid-level technology, a secret coalition of nations had pooled resources and talent to make a quantum leap forward. The Unity Defense Initiative was the result, a multinational program that had developed revolutionary technologies in propulsion, energy weapons, shields, and most importantly, stealth systems that could hide these advancements from even the most sophisticated alien scanners. "First contact protocols are ready?" Elena asked. "Yes, Commander," replied Communications Chief Okafor. "Though I doubt the Arcturus Dominion will follow diplomatic niceties when they realize we've been operating in their claimed territory." Elena's expression hardened. "They claim a dozen star systems they've never even visited, including our own. It's time they learned Earth isn't as helpless as they think." The opportunity came sooner than expected. 3 weeks later, a Dominion scout fleet entered the Sol system without warning or announcement, standard procedure when surveying worlds considered too primitive to deserve diplomatic courtesy. The fleet consisted of 5 vessels, 1 command cruiser and 4 smaller escorts. By Dominion standards, it was a minimal presence, equivalent to sending a few police officers to check on a quiet neighborhood. Their scans showed the expected profile of Earth: primitive fission/fusion power plants, rudimentary spacecraft in low orbit, radio and microwave communications. Nothing concerning. Captain Drez of the Dominion cruiser Inevitable Victory was already composing his cursory report when his sensor officer's voice cut through the bridge. "Sir, anomalous readings at coordinates 34.7 by 59.2. "Explain," Drez demanded, annoyed at the interruption. "Something just appeared, sir. It wasn't there, and then it was. Size consistent with a mid-class vessel." Drez straightened in his command chair. "Malfunction. Run diagnostics." "Already did, sir. The readings are accurate. And there's another one. And another. They're decloaking all around us." On the main view screen, space seemed to ripple as 1, then 5, then 20 sleek vessels materialized around the Dominion fleet. They were unlike any human craft previously documented, smooth, asymmetrical designs with no visible engines or weapons ports. They moved with impossible precision, forming a perfect containment pattern around the Dominion ships. "Impossible," Drez muttered. "The humans don't have this technology. They don't have any ships beyond their own moon." His communications officer turned with alarm. "Captain, we're being hailed. It's from the lead vessel." "Open a channel," Drez ordered, composing himself. Whatever trick this was, he would not show weakness. The screen changed to show Commander Elena Reyes, sitting calmly in the command center of the UDI flagship Defiance. "Attention Dominion vessels. You have entered sovereign Earth space without authorization or diplomatic clearance. Your presence here is a violation of interstellar law as recognized by the Galactic Assembly. You will power down weapons systems and prepare for escort to a designated holding position where your intentions can be properly assessed." Drez stared in disbelief. A human was giving him orders. In his decades of service, he had conquered worlds and commanded fleets in battles that shaped the fate of entire sectors. And now this primitive was addressing him as if she had the upper hand. He laughed, a harsh sound that filled the bridge. "I don't know what game you're playing, human, or how you've managed this little illusion, but the Dominion doesn't take orders from pre-interstellar species. Clear a path for my fleet or be destroyed." Elena's expression didn't change. "That would be unwise, Captain. We have no desire for conflict, but we are fully capable of defending our system." "You had your chance," Drez snarled, cutting the communication. "Weapons, target the closest vessel and fire. Show them what happens when you challenge the Dominion." The cruiser's main cannon charged, the energy building to levels that could vaporize most conventional spacecraft. The beam lanced out toward the nearest Earth vessel, and then did something unprecedented. It stopped. Midway between the ships, the destructive energy simply halted, caught in a containment field that the Dominion sensors couldn't even detect. The Earth ship remained untouched. "Impossible," Drez whispered again. Before he could issue another order, pinpoint beams shot from 3 Earth vessels, striking the Dominion cruiser's weapon systems with surgical precision. No explosion, no catastrophic damage. Just the sudden inability of the Dominion ship to fire again as critical components were disabled. "All weapons offline," reported his tactical officer, panic evident in his voice. They knew exactly where to hit us. The communication screen lit up again with Commander Ray's face. "That was a demonstration, Captain. We could have destroyed your vessel, but that's not our intention today. Earth is not the primitive world you believe it to be. We've been watching, learning, and preparing while the galaxy ignored us. Today that changes." Around the Dominion fleet, more Earth ships decloaked, bringing their number to over 50. Each one maneuvered with a precision that spoke of technology far beyond what humans were supposed to possess. "We are transmitting coordinates for a holding position. My ships will escort you there. When you're ready for civilized discussion, we'll talk about your unauthorized presence in our system and the Dominion's false claim to soul." For the first time in his career, Captain Drez found himself with no tactical options. His ship was disabled, his fleet surrounded, and he had grossly underestimated his opponent. With barely contained fury, he gave the order to comply. As the Dominion ships were escorted to the designated coordinates near Jupiter, alarms were already sounding throughout Dominion space. Emergency sessions were called in the Galactic Assembly. Intelligence agencies of a dozen species scrambled to understand how they had missed this development. In the Himalayan Command Center, Director Zhang approached Commander Rice as she monitored the situation. "That went better than expected," he observed. "No casualties on either side." Elena nodded. "This was just the introduction. The real test comes next. The Dominion won't take this humiliation lightly." "I'm counting on it," Elena replied. "They'll send a real fleet next time, not just a scouting party. And when they do..." She looked at the tactical display showing Earth's full defensive network, hundreds of ships and thousands of automated platforms, most still hidden from alien sensors. They'll learn exactly what humanity is capable of. Throughout the solar system, humanity's secret preparations were shifting from defensive posture to active readiness. On Mars, massive underground factories that had been disguised as research outposts began launching additional vessels. From the asteroid belt, mining operations revealed themselves to be forward military bases. Even Neptune's moons housed surprise elements of Earth's defensive strategy. The galaxy had dismissed Earth as insignificant. The Arcturus Dominion had claimed Sol system without ever truly understanding what it contained. Both mistakes were about to cost them dearly. As reports of the encounter reached Arcturus Prime, Admiral Xotor stood before the Assembly Council, his reputation already tarnished by this unprecedented intelligence failure. "I request immediate authorization for a full battle group to secure the Sol system and neutralize this unexpected threat," he demanded. The authorization was granted without debate. The Dominion would not tolerate defiance, especially from a species that had somehow hidden its true capabilities for so long. Within hours, 40 of the Dominion's most powerful warships were assembled. Their mission was simple: crush Earth's defenses and establish permanent control over the system. No one in the galaxy expected the humans to survive the coming onslaught. No one except the humans themselves. Lightning in the dark. The Dominion battle fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system, 40 warships arranged in attack formation. Unlike the previous scouting party, this was a force designed to subjugate entire star systems. Leading them was the dreadnought Indomitable, a vessel 17 kilometers long that housed enough firepower to reduce Earth's surface to molten slag. On its command deck, Fleet Admiral Verox surveyed tactical displays with cold confidence. Unlike Captain Drez, whose small fleet had been humiliated weeks earlier, Verox had never lost a campaign in 3 centuries of military service. "Deploy scanning drones," he ordered. "Find their defense grid. I want to know every ship, every weapon, every hiding place these humans think they have." "Yes, Admiral," his executive officer replied. "The preliminary data from our scout ships suggests they have perhaps 60 vessels, all clustered around their homeworld." Verox's mouth twisted in what passed for a smile among his species, hardly worth the effort of bringing a full battle group. But after their deception, an example must be made. Hundreds of scanner drones shot forward from the Dominion fleet, advanced probes designed to penetrate any known stealth technology. They spread across the solar system, cataloging everything from Mercury to the Kuiper Belt. In the Himalayan Command Center, Commander Elena Reyes watched the approaching force with her senior staff. The room was silent, the tension palpable. "They've deployed scanner drones," reported Sensor Chief Miyazaki. "Much more sophisticated than anything we've seen before." Elena nodded. "As expected. Are the Prometheus platforms ready?" "Yes, Commander. All 300 are in position and undetected." "And the fleet?" Fleet Admiral Singh, a veteran of Earth's conventional navies before joining the Unity Defense Initiative, stepped forward. "Our ships are maintaining stealth protocols. Tactical groups are in position around Mars, Jupiter, and Earth. Strike teams are standing by." Earth's strategy had been prepared long before the Dominion arrived. Unlike conventional military doctrine that relied on matching force with force, Elena had developed an approach based on Earth's historical guerrilla warfare tactics, adapted for space combat. "Let them come deeper into the system," she ordered. "Let them think they know what they're facing." The Dominion fleet advanced methodically, their scanner drones returning data that showed exactly what Admiral Varrox expected: a modest defensive force clustered primarily around Earth and its moon. No significant presence was detected elsewhere in the system. "Pathetic," Varrox commented as the reports came in. "They managed to surprise Captain Drez with a few cloaked ships, but this is the extent of their power. Begin the attack sequence. Target their orbital platforms first, then their vessels. Once their space assets are neutralized, we'll demand unconditional surrender." The Dominion fleet accelerated toward Earth, their weapons systems charging. Even from a distance, their energy signatures lit up space with ominous power. By conventional military assessment, Earth stood no chance against such overwhelming force. But Elena Reyes had never believed in conventional warfare. "They've taken the bait," she said quietly. "Activate Prometheus." Throughout the solar system, in places the Dominion scanners had swept past without detecting anything unusual, 300 stealth platforms came to life. Named after the mythological figure who gave fire to humanity, the Prometheus array was Earth's masterstroke. A system not primarily of weapons, but of electromagnetic disruption technology. The first sign of trouble came as the Dominion fleet passed the orbit of Mars. Without warning, 30 of their ships suddenly lost power to their main drives. Scanner systems flickered and weapon capacitors drained mysteriously. The carefully orchestrated formation began to break apart as vessels drifted off course. "What's happening?" Varrox demanded as alarms blared across his flagship. "Unknown energy field, Admiral," his science officer reported frantically. "It's targeting our power distribution systems specifically. We're losing control of critical systems across the fleet." But that was just the beginning. As the Dominion ships struggled to restore power, Earth's hidden fleet made its move. Unlike the 60 vessels the scanners had detected around Earth, over 200 ships decloaked from hiding places throughout the solar system. They had been concealed in asteroid fields, hiding in planetary rings, and drifting in the shadow of moons, positions carefully chosen to evade even the most sophisticated detection. "All tactical groups, execute Phase 2, Elena commanded. Earth's ships didn't engage in traditional formation warfare. Instead, they attacked in small, coordinated strike teams, each targeting specific vulnerabilities in the Dominion vessels. Some fired precision weapons that disabled propulsion systems without destroying the ships. Others deployed specialized drones that attached to Dominion hulls and scrambled their communications. On the Indomitable, Admiral Varrox watched in growing horror as his carefully orchestrated battle plan collapsed into chaos. "How is this possible?" he roared. "They're everywhere. Where did these ships come from?" The answer became clear as his tactical officer managed to get a sensor sweep working again. The Earth vessels were using technology unlike anything the Dominion had encountered. adaptive stealth systems that could render ships completely invisible until the moment they attacked. "Sir, we've lost contact with Battle Group 3, reported his communications officer. Battle Groups 2 and 4 are reporting massive system failures." Varrock slammed his fist on the command console. "Focus all remaining power on weapons. Target Earth directly. If we can't defeat their fleet, we'll make their victory meaningless." But even this desperate gambit failed. As the Indomitable redirected energy to its planet-killer weapons system, 3 Earth vessels appeared seemingly out of nowhere, directly in front of the massive ship. They were smaller than most of the human fleet, specialized craft that had been waiting for precisely this moment. "Nullifiers in position," reported Admiral Singh back in the command center. Elena gave a single nod. "Execute." The 3 Earth ships activated unique devices that created a contained quantum disruption field. The Indomitable's weapon discharge, powerful enough to crack a planetary crust, simply dissipated into subspace, harmlessly dispersed across thousands of kilometers. Simultaneously, 12 other Earth vessels converged on the Dominion flagship from different vectors, each firing precision weapons that targeted the Dreadnought's key systems, not to destroy it, but to render it completely inoperable. In less than 20 minutes of combat, the outcome was clear. 3/4 of the Dominion fleet hung powerless in space, their systems compromised by the Prometheus array and the surgical strikes of Earth's ships. The remaining vessels were surrounded, cut off from retreat. Admiral Varrock stood in stunned silence on his darkened bridge, emergency power providing only minimal lighting. His mighty flagship, the pride of the Dominion, floated helpless in space. The communication screen flickered to life, showing Commander Elena Reyes. "Admiral Varrock, your fleet has been neutralized. You have 2 options. Surrender and acknowledge Earth's sovereignty, or force us to demonstrate the full extent of our capabilities." Varrock's face contorted with rage. "This is impossible. You're a pre-interstellar species. You can't have developed this technology on your own." Elena's expression remained calm. "Your intelligence was flawed, Admiral. Earth has never been what you thought it was. We kept our advancements hidden while we studied the galaxy and its politics. We saw how the Dominion treats worlds it considers weak, and we prepared accordingly." "The Dominion will send more ships," Varrock threatened. "This isn't over." "Look around you, Admiral," Elena replied. "We could have destroyed your entire fleet. Instead, we disabled it with minimal casualties. This wasn't just a battle, it was a message. Earth is not to be claimed or conquered. We're now transmitting data packets to your remaining functional systems, evidence of defensive capabilities we haven't even deployed yet." On the secondary screens of the Indomitable, images appeared showing weapons platforms hidden throughout the solar system, technology that even the mighty Dominion had never developed. It was a calculated revelation, enough to prove Earth's claims without showing all their cards. "Return to Arcturus Prime with this knowledge, Admiral," Elena continued. "Tell the Dominion that Earth claims its rightful place among the spacefaring civilizations. We don't seek war, but as you've now witnessed, we are more than capable of defending ourselves." In the days that followed, the disabled Dominion ships were allowed to make repairs, under supervision from Earth vessels, and depart the Sol system. Their retreat was observed by representatives from dozens of alien civilizations who had rushed to witness this unprecedented defeat of a major power by a supposedly primitive world. The Galactic Assembly convened an emergency session as the news spread across inhabited space. Centuries of political balance had been upended in a single engagement. The mysterious humans, long dismissed as inconsequential, had humbled one of the galaxy's most feared military powers. In the assembly chambers, Admiral Soter faced not just embarrassment, but outright calls for his removal. The Dominion's reputation for invincibility lay in tatters. "How did we miss this?" demanded the proconsul of the Dominion. "How did an entire planet develop this level of technology without our knowledge?" "They hid in plain sight," Soter admitted bitterly. "Our arrogance blinded us. We saw what we expected to see, a divided world of limited capability. Meanwhile, they were studying us, learning our weaknesses, preparing defenses specifically designed to counter our technology. On Earth, celebrations were tempered with the knowledge that their world had now fully entered the galactic stage. There would be no going back to anonymity. In the Himalayan Command Center, Commander Reyes met with the newly formed Earth diplomatic corps as they prepared for their first official mission to Arcturus Prime. The Dominion has formally withdrawn its claim to the Sol system, reported Director Zhang, and we've received recognition requests from 17 different galactic powers. Everyone wants to know how we did it. That information remains classified, Elena replied firmly. Our technological advantage is our best protection for now. And the Prometheus array. Official records will show it as a defensive system only. Let the galaxy wonder what else we might have. Zhang smiled. From footnote to headline in a single battle. Not bad for a pre-interstellar species. Outside the command center windows, the Himalayan peaks stood silhouetted against the setting sun. Above them, new stars were becoming visible. Not just points of light now, but potential destinations, homes to civilizations that would soon be dealing with humanity as equals. 3 months after the battle, Earth's first official delegation arrived at Arcturus Prime. The massive space station that served as the capital of galactic politics had been expanded to include a new wing, the Earth Embassy. Commander Elena Reyes, now serving as Earth's military attaché, stood beside Ambassador Zhang as they prepared to enter the assembly chambers for the first time. Nervous? Zhang asked. Elena watched as representatives from hundreds of worlds filed into the chamber, many casting curious glances at the humans. No, she replied. We've earned our place here. The doors to the assembly opened, and a hush fell over the gathered delegates as the humans entered. At the podium, the assembly speaker, a being of living crystal from a distant world, raised its resonating arms for silence. Today we welcome representatives from Earth, whose people have demonstrated that appearances can be deceiving and assumptions can be dangerous. Let their journey from obscurity to recognition serve as a reminder that the galaxy is full of surprises. As Ambassador Zhang approached the podium to deliver Earth's first address to the assembly, Elena remained at the back of the chamber, observing. The Battle of Sol, as it was now being called in galactic records, had changed everything. Humanity had announced its presence not with words but with action, proving themselves in the universal language of power. Yet this was just the beginning. Earth's sudden emergence had shifted the balance of galactic politics in ways that would take decades to fully manifest. Old alliances would be questioned, new partnerships would form. Some would seek to learn from humanity's example, while others would view Earth with suspicion or outright fear. In the darkness of space between star systems, whispers already spread of other primitive worlds that might be hiding their true nature. The certainties that had guided galactic civilization for millennia were suddenly less certain. And at the center of this new uncertainty stood humanity, a species that had turned its historical divisions and struggles into an advantage, learning to hide, to adapt, and to strike when least expected. A species that had transformed its perceived weakness into unprecedented strength. The galaxy had made its greatest mistake in underestimating Earth. It was not a mistake anyone would make again. As Ambassador Zhang concluded his address, the assembly erupted in a mixture of applause and murmured conversations. Elena caught the eye of Admiral Sotar across the chamber. The Dominion officer gave her a slight nod, not of friendship, but of reluctant respect. Earth had arrived on the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same.